Make sure you as you gather your props that you have the right temperature in the room or the right layers of clothing to support you in practice. And I invite you to take these 5 minutes to just do any breathing or any stretches and movement to prepare you for practice. If you have any questions, feel free to put a question into the chat. And if you're here for the very first time, if you'd like to say hello in the chat, that would be wonderful. Always nice to welcome you. Just a couple things about our practice today. Feel free to leave your video on or off as you prefer, whatever feels most comfortable for you. And please take practice at your own pace. I'm making suggestions and giving offerings. But this is really your time. If you want a little more than what I'm doing, you can stay in poses longer or do a little more. Can always do a little less. And if something that I'm sharing is contraindicated for you, or you just don't like it, feel free to do something else entirely. It's really your time. And it's part of the beauty of being on Zoom that nobody's seeing you. You're not distracting anybody if you do something a little different from what I'm suggesting. Lynn from Boston, welcome to you. It's great that you're here. Wonderful. Glad that you're here. I was away last week. We didn't have yoga because I was at our big IJS 5-day silent retreat, helping to staff that at the Garrison Institute in New York. And we had over 100 people, which was really exciting, sitting together for 5 days. And in yoga, we had 60 people, 60 mats in the room. And, of course, I'm here with all of you every week. We're together and we often have 100 or more, but we don't see a physical room. We don't see each other. We don't see mats. So it was just really special to take in how much effort we're all giving to our practice. It was really beautiful. So I think for myself anyway, for today, I'm going to imagine that we're all here in the room, that the energy is really strong together. Okay, my friends, we're at the top of the hour. A few announcements from the Institute, and then we will begin. Our props for today are going to be anything you would like for standing poses, whether it's a chair or blocks, and then also a strap. if you've got it. And if you have none of those things, also okay too. Couple of announcements, and then we'll begin our practice seated. That's where we're going. So there's a new episode out of Soulful Jewish Living, Josh Fagelson's podcast today. So please check that out. Link in the chat. And as well, join us at IJS for our Evening of Light live stream on Sunday, December 14th, as we celebrate 25 years of the Institute of Practice, Mindfulness, and Connection. Together, we're going to honor Dorian Goldman and Marvin Israelo for their vision, leadership, and devotion to IJS. So please join us in person or on the live stream. The link is there to register. And if neither is possible for you, also you are invited to make a donation in their honor and to the Institute. There are still some spaces left for my upcoming retreat at Kripalu, December 4th through 7th. So if you know you're exhausted or that Thanksgiving is basically going to wipe you out, there's a spot for you if you're looking to have Shabbat in community and have a lot of movement in a very receptive, amazing spiritual place. I'll be at Kripalu in Western Mass, and that link is in the chat as well. Okay, my friends, great, great. We're all here. Let us get started. Today is the 4th of Kislev, so Chodesh Tov. We haven't seen each other since the month began. It should be a positive month for you, and of course filled with the Hanukkah lights and your own presence and light growing day by day. So find a comfortable seat. It could be seated on a chair as I'm doing, or propped up on a blanket or a block, something like that. Find the grounding, the base of your pelvis, your sit bones, and even wider than your sit bones out to the greater trochanters, the edges of those upper bones of the thigh. Find your grounding down through the pelvis, through the spine, and also perhaps through the feet if you're in a chair. And then feel the length up your spine, vertebra by vertebra, all the way to the top of your spine, which ends roughly between your ears. And go up even further to the crown of the head. You could take a hand to the crown of your head and press lightly up with your head into your hand. Make your neck just a little bit longer, a little bit easier. And simultaneously, can you feel the down and the up directions? And keep that feeling of length in both directions as you release your hand. We'll start with the 6 movements of the spine. So beginning with cat and cow, as you inhale, roll forward and open the belly, draw the elbows back, widen the collarbones and gaze up, arching. As you exhale, roll back on the pelvis, make a C curve, navel to spine, top of the head forward, exhaling, and coming back and forth like this in your own time. You can take it as slow as you like. Inhaling on the arch and exhaling on the curl. Making some space from vertebra to vertebra as you move, just linking gently movement with breath as we start to open the body. Come back to center. Find that balance again with the extension down and the extension upward. And we'll take a side bend over to the right, inhaling the left arm up, round both sides of the pelvis, and exhale, take a side bend over to the right. You can extend through the fingertips if there are any shoulder issues. Maybe you just want to keep the hand on the shoulder or even down. Main thing here is grounding the left hip as you extend through the fingertips. Good. And then from here, start to do a little backstroking with that top arm. A little bit of a circle here, coming forward, coming up and back and behind you. And you can decide, again, depending on how much range of motion you have in your own shoulder, play with this. You can close and open the torso a little bit as you go as well. And then let the arm lead you back up to center. And we'll take the other side, inhaling the right arm up, ground the right hip as you exhale and take a side bend over to the left. So finding length before we find the side bending. And then from here, take the arm back and behind you and start to make circles. Starting to get that synovial fluid moving in the shoulder joint. Just being nice and generous with your breath throughout practice. And let the arm bring you back up to center. And pause for a moment. Again, find that grounding down and that lift up. Inhale both arms out and up. And then exhale, we're going to twist to the right. And as you're here, again, ground your pelvis and lift on the inhale. And then on the exhale, spin the ribs, the spine. And then inhale, arms up, back to center. And exhale, spin it to the other side. Just investigate this first twist of the day. Inhale the arms up, extend the fingertips up and lengthen up. Pause here as you exhale, ground the sitting bones down. We'll take a couple breaths like this. As you inhale, lengthening up through the crown, through the fingertips, exhaling down through the sitting bones, through the feet. One more time, inhale and lengthen upward. And exhale, lengthen downward as you slowly take the arms out to the sides and back down. So be mostly with your breath here for the next few minutes as I just share a few words with you. I want to talk about the beginning of Parshat Vayetze. This was probably one of, if not the very first Jewish mindfulness teaching I ever learned. And so when I come to this portion, it's so ripe and perfect for yoga teaching that I always teach the same first paragraph and same idea because it is, in fact, glorious. So Jacob is on the run from Esav, his brother, who wants to kill him because Jacob has stolen his blessing. He leaves Beersheba and he sets out to his cousin Lavan's house, his uncle, I'm sorry, in Haran. He places a stone under his head and he goes to sleep. Vayetze Yaakov mi Beersheba, he leaves Beersheba, vayelech Harana, and goes toward Harana. Vayifga b'makom, and he came to a certain place and he stopped. Vayalen sham kiva Shammash, because the sun was going down. Vayikach me'avnei hamakom, and he took from the stones of the place. Vayasem merashotav, and he put it under his head. Vayishkav bamakom hahu, and he laid down in that place. And then he had his famous dream. A stairway was set on the ground, or a ladder, sulam, mutzav arza, grounded down to the earth, set on the ground, virosho, and its top, it's literally its head, virosho magia hashamayma, reaching toward the sky. Vihine malachi Elohim, and here were angels of God, olim v'yordim bo, going up and down. And God was with him and makes the same promise to him as to his father and his grandfather. He says, God says, I'm with you, I'll protect you, I won't leave you. Jacob wakes up from this dream and he says, Achen yesh Adonai b'makom hazeh, God was in this place, ve'anochi lo yadati, and I didn't know. Vayiran, he was afraid. Vayomer mano raha makom hazeh, how awesome is this place, surely. It is nothing but nothing other than the abode of God and the gateway to heaven. So there are actually really a number of ideas here. The first is the idea of this ladder, which we can know as the spine, the sulam, the ladder. Mutzav arza, grounded, as we started with today and will continue with today. Virosho magia hashamayma, and its upper realms lengthening upward. Rabbi Alan Liu of blessed memory, in his terrific book, Be Still and Get Going, wrote the following: we are certainly mutzav arza, bound both physically and existentially to our earthliness, yet at the same time, our heads are magia shamayma, persistently reaching heavenward on every conceivable level. We are rooted to this earth, yet something in us aspires to heaven. Something in us is always reaching beyond the limits of our earthliness. And then to the verse, Achen yesh Adonai, God was in this makom, this place, and I didn't know. Alan Liu says, so it is in meditation. And I'll substitute yoga, which is simply meditation in motion. So it is in our yoga. We inhabit this very place, makom. The word makom is used just in those few verses 5 times. Hamakom hazeh, this place. And of course, makom, hamakom, the place, is a word that we use to express God. God is known as hamakom. So being in this place fully, rooted, tethered, and also aspirational and vibrant, the divine becomes known, revealed to us. So Alan Liu says, we inhabit this very place. We enter into intimate relationship with it, this place, this moment, this breath, this body today. Those are my words. Back to him. We inhabit the most basic elements of our present tense reality, our breath and body, and we fill these things with consciousness until they glow, until they become vibrant and radiant. Then this vibrancy fills us, body and mind, and we walk through the world with it, awakening every moment from the dimly lit fantasy we have been caught in until now to a luminous, sacred world, a world suffused with the presence of God. Amen. And so if you have Alan Liu's book, this is pages 23 to 26 that I'm quoting from. So in our yoga, we must always find both our grounding and our extension, and we're going to look at that through the spine in the various planes, standing, sitting, lying, and then we can breathe into that. We can suffuse it with consciousness. And this is our true sense of equanimity and integration that we're seeking, being bamakom hazeh, in this place, this place. Can just use that over and over, hamakom hazeh, with a spine rooted and also aspirational, and holding both of these qualities. So let's come to stand, and we'll look at the spine standing. Let's begin with a little roll down. So take the feet hip width apart, even a little wider if you'd like. Take a nice inhale. Exhale. Take the chin to the chest and begin to roll down the spine. And you can come down as far as you want. It might be to the thighs or to the shins or down to the floor. And then once you're here, take a nice inhale. Fill the torso and the pelvic bowl. And as you exhale, press the floor away, navel to spine. Begin to roll up, vertebra by vertebra. If you have any shakeout you want to do along the way, go for it. And as you come up, stacking one vertebrae upon the next, widen the collarbones, drop the shoulder blades down the back, and make your way all the way up. And once you do, again, Mutsav Artsa, grounding the four corners of the feet. Virosho Magia Hashamaima, as if your skull, the top of your head, is connected by a beautiful golden thread up to the ceiling and beyond to the sky. Just find those directions. And we'll move this into some standing poses. So let's start with the legs wide. Take the hands to the hips. You may want the chair in front of you or blocks in front of you. Inhale, lift the heart. Squeeze the shoulder blades toward each other. And exhale, fold forward at the crease of the hips, coming forward. Hands to the chair, the blocks, the floor, wherever you're going here, depending on the flexibility in your own legs in this moment. And just find a flat back, long spine. Draw the thighs back. That's your Mutsav Artsa, is that grounding back of the thighs and lengthening of the tailbone. And the crown extending forward. That's your up in this direction. And then take the hands to the hips. Inhale and lift up. And exhale and come back to standing neutral. Bring the feet together or hip width apart. We'll take a forward bend with legs together or hip width apart. Again, you may want the chair or blocks. Ground the feet, inhale, lift up. And then exhale, fold forward at the crease of the hips, or the hands can come to your thighs or to your shins. See what works for you. Micro bend in the knees, but engaging the quads and lifting the knees. And that extension of the spine, again, from tailbone to crown, that sulam, that ladder. All that wonderful electrical activity that moves through the spine and makes everything in our bodies activate and work, all those messages that come from the central nervous system. And then as you're ready, come up either long spine or rolling up. Let's take the legs wide for warrior two. First to the right, turning left toes in, right toes out. Inhale the arms up and exhale, bend through that front knee. Take a look down, see that your knee is just tracking, not past the ankle and tracking forward, not rolling in. You can adjust your legs accordingly, and you can just come down with a small bend or more, see what is working for you today. The back leg is straight. The gaze is over those front fingertips. Be right in this place, hamakom hazeh. Present for breath, present for sensation. When you're ready, come on out. Shift the feet. Inhale the arms up, taking the gaze over the left fingertips, and exhaling, coming into the pose. Do your alignment checks. Just looking at your own body. Checking on the front knee, the back leg, And settle into this place, this breath. When you're ready, straighten the legs, come on up, turn the feet. We're going to take a look at triangle pose, and I'll model it for you with the chair. So especially if you're feeling a little stiff this morning, chair can be nice, or if the flexibility of the legs is limited. Turning the legs to the right, inhale the arms up, exhale, shift the hips and shift the torso and come on down. So here's triangle with the chair. And of course, you might be coming down lower. You might be hand on the shin or hand on a block or the floor. See if you can maximize the length on that right leg between the sitting bone and the ankle. When you're ready, press into the feet, inhale and come up. If you have a prop, change sides. Turn the feet to the left. Inhale the arms up, extend through the fingertips. Exhale, shift the hips, shift the torso, place the hand. Top arm can come up or top arm can rest on the hip. The spine is long. So again, Mutsav Artsa, lengthening the tailbone. Rosho Magia Hashamaima, lengthening through the crown, lengthening both ways through that spine. Both the legs are straight. And once again, maximizing the distance from sitting bone on the left to the ankle. When you're ready, press into the feet, inhale and come up. And one more time, we'll take wide leg forward bend. So really giving attention to the spine and the length of the spine and the bidirectionality of the spine. Inhale, lift the heart. And exhale, fold forward at the crease of the hips. Lengthen out. Find that length of the spine. And the length through the legs. And then if you'd like to fold and bring the head down, go for it. Fingertips in line with the toes. Crown of the head moving toward the floor. And then unwind to come out. Once you're back, hop or step the feet together. Find an easy mountain pose. Take a hand to the belly and a hand to the heart. And soften the gaze or even close the eyes if you'd like. Go inside. Hamakom hazeh, this place. This moment. How is it right now in this place? And then as you're ready, release the hands, open the eyes, and we'll sit it down. I forgot to say blanket at the beginning of the class, but we basically always use a blanket. So if you have one, if you have yours, have a seat. You might want to sit up on a block. Or alternatively, if the hamstrings, if the back of your legs are tight, you may want to sit in the chair. And then you sit towards the front of the chair and bring the legs in front of you. And they have a little less of an angle of flexion for the hip. So let's begin by taking the hands to your sides, press the palms down, draw the upper arm bones back, a little squeeze of the shoulder blades toward each other, and lengthen the back of the head. Right, and once again, just like that ladder, Mutsav, Artsa, ground. The base of the pelvis, ground the sitting bones, a sense of rooting. And then also lifting up the Rosho Magia Hashamayma, lifting the crown of the head up. If it's too much for the legs, you can also bend the knees slightly. If the hip flexors get really tight. Good. And from here, let's take just a little twist in each direction, twisting to the right. Inhaling through the center, twisting to the left. And we'll make a forward bend. If you have a strap, it can be nice to use this around the feet. And pulling on the strap to help lift up. And then we can start to fold forward, inhaling into length, again, bi-directional, and exhaling, folding forward. Just a small increments, a little bit at a time. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, fold. So just little by little coming forward. So you can use the strap, you can take hold of big toes. And if at some point as you come forward, after you've found some really nice length in your back, if you want to round the back a little bit, that's fine too. If you've had any issue with discs in the lower back or osteopenia or osteoporosis, maybe you've been told not to round, so then just stay in length. Investigating this forward bend. As you're ready, begin to release and come back to staff pose. And then from here, we'll come on to the back. So this sulam, this ladder, we found it in seated and we found it in standing. And now we'll take it to lying down. And of course, it's the same spine with the same bidirectional length. So as you come to the floor, bend the knees, take the soles of the feet to the floor. You can bend the elbows and take the palms to the belly or to the low ribs. Just let the spine settle into length here. We'll start by finding some space and length for the low back, lumbar, and sacrum by doing some pelvic tilts. So we're just going to go from neutral to a bit of a curl and then back. So as you inhale, allow the breath to fill the belly. And as you exhale, take the navel to the spine and flatten out the curve of the lower back, lengthening the tailbone. Get all the way through that exhale. And then as you inhale, roll it back to neutral. So you restore that curve. And back and forth like this as you exhale, imprint the low back into the mat. And as you inhale, come back to neutral. All right, so exhaling, pressing the spine. Inhaling, come back to neutral. Back and forth a few times like this. And get every little drop of breath out on that exhale. So the inhale can just rebound. And then come on back to neutral. We're going to take figure 4 by taking the right ankle to the left thigh just above the knee. And then you can draw this whole thing in. You can either thread your strap behind the left thigh or take your arms and thread through and clasp hands behind the left thigh. Draw this whole thing in. Keep a light flex on the right foot. You can even rock it a little bit side to side. See what sensation arises. Just being right here. Bamakom hazeh, in this place. You're determining the amount of sensation you bring up by how much you pull this in towards your body. And then keep the figure 4, bring it down to the floor, left foot on the floor. Extend your arms overhead along the floor. And then we're going to take the legs and let them fall over towards the right. Especially extend through those left fingertips up. And then as you roll onto the inner blade of the left foot, you can play with that left hip point, pressing forward, extending diagonally to the opposite wall, and then just sort of lowering back a little bit. So the right side of the outer hip, the right outer hip is on the floor, but the left hip is up in the air. You're just playing with the amount you extend and open through the top of that left thigh. Good. And then release, bring that whole thing back to center. Release the legs, give them a little hug in. Reset neutral here. And then we'll take figure 4 on the other side, crossing the left over the right. Bring it in. Hamakom hazeh. Just practicing being right here, filling the body with breath. And then Bring the right foot back to the floor. Keep that figure four. Take the arms up above the head along the floor, and then let the legs and pelvis drift over towards the left. Keep extending through those right fingertips, finding that diagonal. And then you can start to play with the right hip point, pressing forward and coming back a little. You're balanced on the inner blade of the right foot. And play with that movement, that nuance. When you're ready, roll it on back. And once again, hug the knees to the chest. And take your arms out to the sides at a T by your shoulders. Leave the knees in toward the chest. Inhale here. And as we exhale, let's take the knees over to the right for a little twist. Couple breaths here. And then inhale back through center. And exhale, knees to the left. Inhale back to center. And lastly, let's take a block under the hips, maybe even just a little bit higher. We're going to take the legs in the air for a shoulder stand variation. The ankles right above the hips. Be right where you are. Inhabiting this place, this body, this breath, this day, this moment. Flex through the feet and also extend through the balls of the feet, spread the toes. Keep the feet nice and bright. And then as you're ready, bring it down. Take a moment here with the feet down in this low supported bridge. Hands can be wherever you would like. Just let the pelvis settle. And then as you're ready, lift the hips, remove the block, and lengthen yourself out fully for some silence and some rest in whatever shape feels good. Might be as I'm doing with the legs long, the arms by the sides. It's a traditional Shavasana. You may prefer the knees bent, the elbows bent, constructive rest. Or any way you want to rest. Might be fetal position, might be prone with belly down, forehead down. Just taking a few minutes here of stillness and quiet to let the nervous system receive. Manora hamakom hazer. 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 How awesome is this place? This is none other than the abode of the divine, and that is the gateway to heaven. Wiggling your fingers and your toes, deepening your breath, and coming back to the surface of your body as we start to make this transition back into our day. And take all the time you need to make your way up to a comfortable seat. And once again, find that sense of mutsav artsa, of grounding, of rooting, of tethering downward. And then climb up that ladder of the spine and find that sense of Osho Magia Shamaima, of the crown of the head, really lifting, opening to the expanse of the sky, to hope, to aspiration, to dreams. And bring your palms together at your heart. Bow your head to your heart. Thank yourself for practicing today. Release the hands, lift the head, allow the eyes to open. Shavua Tov, everyone. Thank you for practicing. We'll have some time in a moment for Q&A. Again, check out Josh Fagelson's podcast, new episode out today. Check out our Evening of Light, December 14th, and register for that in person or online. You simply offer a donation to IJS and check out the in-person retreat, December 4 through 7 at Kripalu with myself. I'm joined by Rabbi Claudia Kramen from Boston and Rabbi Cantor, Danielle Ben Simon in Florida, in West Palm Beach Gardens. So, let's see, we have time for some questions. You can put questions into the chat, or you can use the hand raising function. I'd love to hear from people who come all the time and never speak up. So if you have a question, I'd love it. Or just doesn't have to be a question, a reflection on your practice today. How did it go for you? How did it feel in your body? Aliza, you're asking about recordings. We do. All our recordings are on the YouTube playlist. There we go. Jet just put it into the chat. And you can access, we have over 100 recordings, if you can believe it, from our yoga studio. So please check it out. Hit subscribe, like us. It helps amplify our message. So that would be a great mitzvah if you could do that. So you can always, usually it takes up to 24 hours for the video to get trimmed and be ready for the week, but they're all up there. So enjoy them. You can review the teachings, review the practices. And Leah, the words of that last chant, which is a chant by Shefa Gold, Ma Norah HaMakom Hazeh. I'll put that into the chat. That chant, I think, has 3 parts, but I'm only one person, so I just did one part. Pam, go for it.
Thank you, Lizzie, and thank you to Jet also. Um, my question, Lizzie, is about triangle pose, and it might be one of those questions where the answer is just whatever one's body wants to do. But I've heard that you're supposed to be able to look up at your hand, and I find that that is difficult for me if I go down as low as I can. So is it more skillful to stay up higher in order to look up at the hand, or is it better to just look straight ahead and go down lower, or does it
That's a
not matter?
fabulous question, Pam. And the answer is yes. It really, it depends what you want to work on in any given day, in any given moment. Where did your picture go? There you are. So for instance, I can't really look up at all anymore much because I've lost so much rotation ability in my cervical spine that it often causes me psoas, not in the moment, but the next day, if I really work on that turn of the head. If you ever have a friend nearby, this is such a skillful help in this pose. Ask them to hold your head, to hold the weight of your head as you work on turning the neck. And that can be really nice for exactly what we worked on today, finding the length of the spine and the twist of the spine. So this is a long answer to your short question, but it was such a good question. The idea in triangle, it's really a twist that goes from the tailbone all the way up the spine. And we want to bring our rib cage under us and really twist evenly through the whole spine all the way up to the top. But it just depends on your own spine, specifically your own neck in terms of looking up, and then also what's going on in your legs. So if you want to work on the rotation of the head and the gazing up, which is also a nice thing for balance, then yeah, don't come down as far. If you want to work on opening the inner lines of the legs, then go a little further down. So can you can play it and balance. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you so much. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, sure. Great. Such a good question. I think triangle is a really intense pose. There's like a lot going on in that pose. Hold on just a sec. I'm going to look back at some of the questions in the chat. Julie, I'm not leading the sit today with Shefa. Shefa Gold is leading the sit. I think maybe just because both our names were there, she will be leading the sit. Marg, quest cervical stenosis, what poses to avoid? I don't know what quest means. Oh, question. Cervical stenosis, what poses to avoid? Well, I mean, it really depends. I have cervical stenosis. They say avoid flexion and to work on extension because you want to get the discs back in, right? So like to work on this action, but I find that flexion feels really good and it doesn't bother me. So I do flexion. I think that whatever we do with stenosis, it's important to just not overdo. Like, and when I'm going into a twist, I just really, and this is true for all of us, stenosis or not, to find length before we turn, right? So what to avoid? Um, I mean, I think of just avoid what you know aggravates it. Because, like, for instance, I just don't have a lot of extension capability with my neck. So, like baby cobra and sphinx should be good for cervical stenosis, but just see how much you really can open up. Don't ever crank your spine. But I'll tell you, there's some great exercises for cervical stenosis with the PT band. Taking it behind your head and working, retract the chin a little bit, hold for 5. These start to strengthen and help. They strengthen all those small muscles of the neck. You can pull back and then go side to side. Those are beautiful. These are all ones I've gotten in physical therapy. Maybe you have too. Then there's take your hand to one side of your head, press for 5, and then the other side, press. Then there's also press and turn. So your hand is giving a little bit of resistance, 5. So you do like sets of 10 on all of these, and then your forehead as well, press. So you'll see these just strengthen up the neck really, really nicely. And I find that doing those has helped me a lot in my yoga. So that's an awesome question. Thank you for that. Cervical stenosis. Ramona, you liked the figure 4 into the twist. Good. That's a nice one. I like that one. Oh, we got some thumbs up. Beryl liked it. Okay, good. We'll bring that one back. Dina, so glad you could make it today. That is awesome. Again, you can always watch the videos. So when you can't join, just remember that it's maybe not as fun, but they're always there for you. Fran, and then Judith.
I really like the figure 4 with the strap around the other leg that's not up. And then when we
Great.
did the turn and being on the edge of the bottom of the foot really caused a great shift that I have never felt before. That diagonal that we were talking about, it was amazing that I could feel it in so many places. So
Oh, that's great.
yeah, because not so many, so much of the stuff I can't feel, where I don't
Mm.
feel, where I can't stretch enough to get that feeling. But that was really good because I couldn't understand how I could feel it. So I'm thankful for
That's good. Yeah, that one, now, all of these are just like the whole practice is like finding these nuances and just little turns of the kaleidoscope that help you feel something in a different way. And I like that one a lot, but with the caveat that for those who have any SI instability, sacroiliac or low back issues, that one isn't always the most fun. But for others of us or at different times, that one can be very nice.
Mhm.
So great. It's good to
Thank
have the feedback on that. We'll bring it back.
you. Mhm.
Judith,
Hi, good to see
hi.
you. I actually,
Back in the boxes, huh? Back in
yes,
the
out
box.
of the
We got
boxes.
to see each other in person last week. It was really pretty
And I see a
special.
couple of other familiar faces from
Yeah.
Garrison.
Suze, it's good that you made it.
What was I going to say? Oh yeah, so when we're doing the block underneath the pelvic for the shoulder stand, I don't know if I'm positioning it wrong, but I always, no matter what I do, I feel like the edge of the block is sort of digging into,
Digging into your back.
yeah, somewhere. And
So,
even if I put like a blanket on it, it never seems
hmm.
to work.
Okay. So for me, when I put that block under my hips for like a low bridge, when I'm going to go into shoulder stand, I move it a little higher up my back.
So where is it about when you say you move it higher up?
Just say 3 more inches up my back. And
And when
then
you're
that doesn't
starting,
dig in.
when you're starting, where is it? Because maybe I'm starting in the wrong place.
Yeah, I mean when I'm in bridge, it's like here.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then when I'm gonna go to shoulder stand, I just move it up a little bit, and
Okay.
that keeps it from digging in. I
Okay.
would I would say just keep trying a little if it's a little down, a little up,
Okay.
but It could be that it simply doesn't work for you. So don't make a whole Megillah out of it.
Okay.
I think that's important too, to say, to be able to say, this position isn't my friend, I don't need to do this.
The position is, it's the block.
Well, yeah, the block.
Yeah.
This is not my friend. Maybe you do it instead. If you do have so you could do it with a bolster instead.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I just took the block out and did a shoulder stand, but then I can't get my legs as straight as I can when there's something under there. So, or as vertical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, just you could use something high but softer.
Okay.
Great. Anything else? Jim and Sue Ellen made it too. Hi, it's so terrific that you're here. Okay, friends. So wishing you all measure of goodness in this first week of Kislev. I almost said Elul. That was really weird, but then I knew not to do that. In this first week of Kislev, and we'll see you next week. And for those who are celebrating Thanksgiving, a happy Thanksgiving. And to the Canadians amongst us, we are thankful for you too, and we love you all.